I came home early to surprise my wife. That's how it all began. One last-minute flight change. One cab ride from the airport I'll never forget. One turn of the key into my own front door, and my world turned upside down. I was supposed to be gone until Sunday night. It was Friday afternoon. I had a bouquet of sunflowers in my left hand, Sophia's favorite, and a small velvet box in my pocket. We'd been trying to reconnect lately. I wanted to show her I was still in this, even after the rough months. I had no idea that I was the only one trying. When I opened the door, the sound hit me first. Laughter, clinking glasses, upbeat music. A party? I stepped inside, confused, expecting maybe a surprise for me. But I wasn't the one being celebrated. There were balloons, pink and blue. A massive banner across the living room read, "Congratulations, Sophia and Jonah." My heart stopped. Sophia, my wife, was in the center of the room, holding her stomach in a soft maternity dress, glowing. Jonah, my best friend since high school, stood right next to her, his hand casually resting on her bump. No one noticed me right away, but I noticed everything. Her smile, his touch, the knowing glances from friends, the awkward expression from my own sister when her eyes locked with mine. My parents were there too, standing beside a cake that said, "Can't wait to meet Baby J." Baby J? I didn't say a word. I dropped the flowers. They hit the floor like dead weight. Everyone turned. Sophia gasped. Jonah froze. You could hear the silence swallow the room. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just looked at them and said, "So this is what love looks like now." And then I walked out. I didn't go home that night. Well, whatever home meant now. I couldn't stand to sleep under the same roof where a baby shower for someone else's child had just taken place. In my living room, no less. I checked into a hotel downtown. Nothing fancy, just something with four walls and silence. My phone lit up before I'd even reached the front desk. Sophia, then Jonah, then Sophia again, then Mom. I ignored them all. When I finally opened the group text from my family, I saw it. "Noah, we didn't know how to tell you. Please don't shut us out. She said you two had separated, that you were okay with it." Lie. That was a lie. Sophia and I had our issues, sure. But separated? Never. Not even close. We shared meals every night. Slept in the same bed. She kissed me goodbye at the airport just 3 days ago. Apparently, while I was away trying to build our future, she was celebrating someone else's. I spent that night staring at the ceiling fan, wondering how long it had been going on. How long had I been the punchline in my own marriage? And Jonah? I trusted him with everything. I told him things I never told anyone, including how scared I was that Sophia didn't love me anymore. He must have laughed behind my back the whole time. At 3:17 a.m., I finally responded. To Sophia, everything from now on goes through my lawyer. Don't call me again. To Jonah, get your stuff out of my house. You've got 24 hours. No yelling. No begging. Just facts. This was war. Quiet, calm, calculated war. I showed up at the house the next morning, just after sunrise. The neighborhood was still quiet. I half expected Jonah's car to be gone already, but no. His beat-up Honda sat there like a roach in my driveway. Good. I walked up, key in hand, and opened the door. Sophia must have been too shocked to change the locks. A mistake she wouldn't get the chance to repeat. Inside, the place was exactly how they left it. Half-empty champagne flutes, gift bags overflowing with baby clothes, confetti on the rug. The cake was still out on the table, Baby J carved into pink frosting. I went straight to the garage and pulled out my toolbox. By 9 a.m., the locks were changed. By 10 a.m., Jonah's duffel bags were neatly stacked on the porch. I didn't touch anything that wasn't his. I wasn't about to give them an inch of leverage. He showed up around noon. I heard the engine, then a door slam. I waited in the kitchen. Calm. Cold. When he stepped inside, or tried to, the new lock stopped him. He knocked. Then knocked harder. I opened the door just a crack. "Noah, come on. Man, don't do this like." I shoved the bags into his arms and shut the door in his face. He started shouting, calling me petty, immature. I opened the door again. "You got 20 seconds to get off my property, or I call the cops." He stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. Or maybe, for once, I had found it. "You were my best friend, man," he barked. I nodded. "And now you're just the guy who's gonna pay child support to a woman who's about to ruin your life too." He didn't have a comeback for that. I closed the door. Locked it. Deadbolt included. And that was the last time Jonah set foot in my house. The first email came that night. Subject line: "Please, let's talk." I didn't even open it. The second one had a longer title. It's not what it looked like, I swear. Can we at least talk face to face? That one, I opened, if only to see what lie she'd try to sell first. Noah, I'm sorry you found out this way. The party wasn't how I wanted you to hear it. I panicked when you showed up. I didn't mean for it to happen this way. Jonah and it was complicated. We never meant to hurt you. I want to explain everything. I still love you. Please don't make this uglier than it has to be. Let's talk. Still love me? She slept with my best friend. Hid a pregnancy. Let my own family believe we were separated. And I'm the one who might make it ugly. I forwarded the email to my lawyer, then deleted it. No response. No energy wasted. But the next few days were a circus. Her mother called me, crying, saying Sophia was overwhelmed, that women make mistakes too, and that love doesn't always happen the way we plan. I hung up mid-sentence. Then, the real kicker. Sophia posted a photo from the party on social media. The same living room. Same decorations. Same stomach. Captioned, "Grateful for new beginnings, baby J. You are already so loved." She blocked me, but mutual friends sent it to me out of shock and disgust. She was rewriting history, turning betrayal into a love story, painting herself the victim of complicated emotions. It was working too. Comments poured in. "You deserve happiness, girl. He didn't treat you right anyway. Glad you finally chose yourself." I watched as people who'd known me for years, people I'd helped move, supported through deaths, invited to dinner, turned their backs with 3 fire emojis and a heart. I didn't fight it. Not online. Because while she was busy crafting the perfect narrative, I was gathering the perfect case. Her name was Claire. Jonah's girlfriend, or rather, ex-girlfriend. I hadn't even thought about her until I got a message request on Instagram. The profile picture was familiar. Blonde hair, sharp green eyes. The same woman Jonah used to bring around to double dates when things were serious. Message preview. "Hey Noah, I think we should talk. Jonah betrayed me too." I stared at it for a full minute, then clicked accept. We met at a coffee shop a few days later. Neutral ground. Public. I half expected it to be a setup, but she came alone, no makeup, wearing an old hoodie, eyes swollen from crying. "I'm sorry," she said the moment she sat down. "I knew he was your best friend. I didn't know he was that kind of person." Turns out, Jonah had been living 2 lives. While he was sneaking around with my wife, he was also telling Claire he was committed, saving for a ring, just stressed with work. Same lines he probably used on Sophia, too. Claire had found out about the pregnancy the same night I did. A mutual friend posted a picture from the party. Claire wasn't invited, of course. "He told me you and Sophia were in an open marriage," she said, voice trembling. "That you two were cool with it." I clenched my jaw. "Did you believe him?" Claire shook her head. "Not after I saw her belly. That wasn't casual." We sat there for an hour, piecing together timelines. Overlapping weekends. Excuses. Stories that didn't match. She showed me screenshots. Messages. Hotel receipts she found on his credit card statements. His lies were a work of art. "You planning to drag him legally?" she finally asked. "I already started." She nodded slowly. "Let me know if you ever want a witness." That was the moment I realized I wasn't alone in this. Jonah and Sophia hadn't just burned me. They'd burned everyone around them. But I had allies now, and a plan was forming. Sophia always hated paperwork, which made the next part even more satisfying. I had my attorney draft the divorce petition the moment Claire and I finished talking. Everything was included: adultery, emotional distress, misuse of joint property, and intentional deception. We had timelines, screenshots, even photos. Claire offered a sworn affidavit. I didn't tell Sophia it was coming. I wanted her to open the door herself. On Friday morning, a professional process server knocked on her door. I got a text from him 30 minutes later. "Served." She cried. Slammed the door. Good. She had 21 days to respond. That was 21 days to sit with the reality she could no longer spin. No more cute Instagram captions. No more pretending this was some romantic beginning. She was about to lose the house, half the furniture, her access to my health insurance. And once the paternity test came back, which I requested through my lawyer, she'd lose the final shred of credibility she had left. Jonah, meanwhile, had moved in with her mom. I couldn't make this up if I tried. My sister told me Sophia was begging their old college friends to not take sides, that she was claiming I was overreacting. Overreacting? They hosted a baby shower in my house, with my friends, while I was away working to pay for the very roof they celebrated under. I wasn't overreacting. I was finally reacting. And as I stood in my now quiet house, the party remnants gone, Jonah's stink erased, I felt something close to peace. But the storm wasn't over, because now Jonah had the audacity to fight back. I got the notice from my lawyer on a Wednesday morning. Jonah had filed a motion in civil court, claiming wrongful eviction and emotional distress. He wanted compensation for being forced out of my house, the one I bought 5 years before I even met Sophia. I laughed so hard I choked on my coffee. He actually wanted money from me, after sleeping with my wife, living under my roof, drinking my scotch, and hosting a damn baby shower in my living room. He said I had acted irrationally and caused him trauma. The court date was scheduled for 2 weeks out. I told my lawyer I wanted to show up in person. "Are you sure?" he asked. "We could get it dismissed on paper." "No," I said. "I want to see his face when it gets thrown out." On the day of the hearing, I wore my best Navy suit. I didn't look angry. I looked composed, controlled. Meanwhile, Jonah showed up in a wrinkled button-down and cheap slacks, looking like a teenager who got caught skipping school. The judge read through the file, barely concealing her boredom. After 10 minutes of legal back and forth, she sighed and said, "Mr. Brennan, you were not on the deed. You were not on the lease. You were a guest. You were asked to leave. This motion is denied." Jonah looked stunned, like someone had pulled the rug out from under his feet. Again, I stood up to leave, gave him one long look, and simply said, "Don't ever stand in court again unless you're the defendant. It suits you." He didn't respond. That night, Claire texted me, "Saw Jonah today. He looks like someone unplugged his soul." Good. Because the damage he did to mine? He's only just begun to feel it. I should have known she wasn't done. A week after Jonah's courtroom humiliation, Sophia showed up at my door. No text, no warning, just a knock around 8:30 p.m. I didn't answer at first. Watched her through the peephole. She looked different, not put together, not radiant like the glowing mom-to-be she posted online. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. Hair tied back, dark circles under her eyes, jacket 2 sizes too big. I cracked the door open. Didn't say a word. She swallowed hard. "Can we talk?" I stepped outside, closed the door behind me. "Noah," she whispered, "I know I don't deserve anything, but please, just listen." She started crying. The kind of tears I used to fall for. The kind that once made me drop everything and hold her close. But now they just looked practiced. "I messed everything up," she said. "You didn't deserve any of this." I was scared. You were always so calm, so in control. I felt invisible. "You chose Jonah," I said coldly. "That was your decision." She nodded. "I thought I wanted something different. Something reckless. And now I'm stuck." "You're not stuck," I said. "You're just exposed." Then she dropped the bombshell. "It's not his." I blinked. "What?" "The baby. It's not Jonah's." My stomach twisted. She went on. "I lied. I told everyone it was his because..." I panicked. He found out I was pregnant and assumed it was his. And I let him believe it. I didn't correct him. I thought it would push you away faster so I wouldn't have to face you. I stared at her, trying to read her face. And for the first time in months, I genuinely didn't know what to believe. "It might be yours, Noah," she said, voice cracking. "Please, can we do a paternity test?" I didn't answer right away. I just walked back inside, shut the door behind me, and texted my lawyer. Add a DNA test request to the petition. Rush it. If she wanted clarity, she was about to get it. But one thing was already crystal clear. I wasn't saving her. Not this time. The envelope came by courier. I didn't open it right away. I just stared at it, like it might catch fire in my hands or dissolve into smoke. It was heavier than it should have been, like it carried not just results, but finality. I poured a glass of bourbon, sat at the kitchen counter, and opened it with steady hands. 2 pages. One answer. Paternity results, excluded. Probability of paternity, 0%. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. I just felt relief. It wasn't mine. And finally, there was no doubt. No more twisted games. No room for her tears, her revisionist history, her maybe or what if. The child growing inside Sophia was Jonah's. Period. I sent her a screenshot with no message attached. She replied 10 minutes later. "You don't have to say anything. I understand now. I'm sorry." That was the last message I ever read from her. Later that night, Claire called. She already knew. Jonah had apparently thrown a tantrum after finding out Sophia had requested a test in the first place. "He's spiraling," Claire said. "Lost his job, moved out of her mom's place, drinking too much." Good. Let him spiral. Let him sit in the wreckage he created. Because I was already making plans, real ones. My attorney finalized the divorce filing with the updated paternity result. No alimony. No joint custody concerns. Nothing to negotiate. Just clean, legal closure. I was done playing defense. Now, I was ready to live again. I sold the house 2 weeks after the paternity results came in. Didn't tell anyone. Not Sophia, not mutual friends, not even my parents. I just packed what mattered, donated what didn't, and left the keys with the realtor. I didn't know that space anything anymore. It had been a home, once. But now it was just drywall soaked in betrayal. I moved 3 hours south. Small coastal town. Quiet. Anonymous. The kind of place where no one asked you about your past unless you wanted to share it. I rented a furnished loft above a bookstore. It smelled like old paper and salt water. The first morning I woke up there, I watched the sun rise over the ocean with a coffee in my hand and no one texting me lies. It felt like being reborn. Sophia tried to reach out once more after the sale went public. She sent an email. I saw the listing. I hope you're okay. I know I can't undo what I did, but I hope someday you can forgive me. I didn't reply, not out of spite, just peace. Jonah, from what I heard through Claire, was couch surfing and avoiding child support. His family had stopped answering his calls. He was alone, just like he'd left me. Karma doesn't rush, but she always delivers. As for me, I got a job at a remote consulting firm. I started jogging again, learned how to cook something other than scrambled eggs. Even joined a local trivia night at the pub across the street. No one there knew me as Noah, the betrayed husband. I was just Noah, and it felt good. But healing isn't a straight line. One night, months later, I saw a couple laughing at the bar. She touched his hand the same way Sophia used to touch mine, back when things were still real. It hit me hard, but instead of collapsing, I smiled. Because I knew now what I deserved, and I would never again settle for anything less. 6 months into my new life, just as I was starting to feel like myself again, I got a message that stopped me cold. It wasn't from Sophia, not from Jonah. It was from my father. We hadn't spoken since the day of the baby shower. That day, when he stood awkwardly by the cake, not saying a word while I watched my wife smile next to my best friend. He never defended me, never stepped forward, just looked down at his shoes like the floor would open up and swallow the shame. I'd cut him off, him and Mom both. But now there it was. Son, I don't deserve a second of your time, but I need you to know something. We didn't know. Sophia told us you two had split. She said it was mutual. She begged us to keep it quiet until you processed everything. She lied to us too. I should have trusted my gut. I didn't. I failed you. And I'm sorry. I read it 4 times. And still, I didn't reply. Not yet. Because forgiveness doesn't happen on demand. It's not a door you can knock on and expect to be let in. It's a journey. One I had barely started. That same week, Claire reached out again. Guess who's back in town? And guess who dumped him? I didn't have to guess. Jonah. And Sophia. Apparently, reality had finally sunk in. The fairy tale ended the moment bills started piling up and her Instagram followers stopped caring. Claire said Sophia was staying with her sister. Jonah was sleeping in his car. They weren't together anymore. Just 2 ghosts clinging to the same empty grave. I didn't feel joy, just distance. Their story had ended. Mine hadn't even begun yet. It was a Tuesday when I saw her again. I was walking out of the bookstore downstairs, arms full of boxes for a book drive, when I nearly collided with someone rounding the corner. I looked up. Sophia. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but like the weight of her own choices had finally settled on her shoulders. Her once flawless makeup was gone. She wore plain clothes, no jewelry, just a tired, guilty face. We both froze. Noah, she said, barely above a whisper. I didn't respond, just stared, not with hatred, not even with sadness, just nothing. I heard you moved here, she said. I wasn't trying to find you. I swear. I'm visiting my cousin. This was just, I didn't think I'd actually. I nodded once. And yet, here you are. She looked down. I just wanted to say you were right. About everything. Jonah left. He said he wasn't ready to be a father. My family won't even look me in the eye. And I've lost everything. I stayed silent. She went on. I know you don't owe me anything, but I need you to know I think about what I did every day. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect you to care. You don't get to rewrite this. I cut in, voice calm. You chose the lie. You let it grow. You let me come home to a party for someone else's baby in my own house. You broke me. And now that it's inconvenient, you want peace? Tears welled in her eyes. I'm not here to hurt you, Noah. I know, I said. But you still do. Even now. She nodded slowly, then turned to leave. But just before she stepped off the curb, I called out. Sophia. She looked back. I'm glad the baby's healthy. I really am. I hope you do better with him than you did with me. She didn't reply. She just nodded and disappeared into the crowd. That was the last time I saw her. And strangely, I felt okay. Not happy, not sad, just free. It was nearly a year since the day everything imploded when Jonah crawled back into my life, one last time. It came as a voicemail. His number was still blocked, but the message slipped through via a burner phone. The voice was unmistakable, cracked, slurred, defeated. "Noah, man. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But I messed up, bro. I messed up bad. She left. The baby. I haven't even seen him. I lost my job. Got evicted. I'm staying in my cousin's garage. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I don't expect anything. I needed you to know I get it now. I really do." I listened to the message once, then deleted it. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally did, about myself. He wanted redemption. He wanted the man he stabbed in the back to patch him up and say, "It's okay, bro." But it wasn't okay. It never would be. He took everything good I'd ever shared with him, my trust, my friendship, my marriage, and torched it. And now, he was choking on the smoke. I didn't call him back. I didn't need to. Because silence was the last thing he'd ever expected from me. That silence. That was the final blow. I used to replay everything. The knock at the door. The banner. The cake. Sophia's smile. Jonah's hand on her stomach. The silence in the room when they saw me. It used to loop in my head at 2 a.m., like some kind of private hell I couldn't escape. As if I missed a sign, or said the wrong thing, or loved too much and lost anyway. But now, I don't replay it anymore. It's just gone. I've rebuilt my life brick by brick, not out of bitterness, but out of intention. Every part of my new world is something I chose. The town, the loft, the friends I made without shared pity or gossip. I don't check Sophia's socials anymore. I don't ask Claire for updates on Jonah. Their chaos doesn't belong in my orbit. And I no longer wonder what I could have done differently. Because the truth is, I showed up. I was loyal. I was present. I worked hard. I gave everything. And they still betrayed me. That wasn't my failure. That was their character. I've learned how to laugh again, genuinely. I've even started dating, slowly, carefully. I take long walks near the ocean. I read books without checking my phone. I sleep through the night. There's a kind of freedom in surviving a fire you didn't start. It doesn't make you fearless, but it makes you aware. Stronger, sharper, and damn near impossible to burn twice. It was raining the day my divorce was finalized. I stood outside the courthouse with a coffee in one hand and the paperwork in the other. There was no crowd, no drama, no last-minute twist. Just a judge's signature and peace. I expected to feel something more dramatic. Anger, sadness, maybe even triumph. But instead, I just felt light. Like I'd taken off a backpack I didn't realize I'd been carrying for years. That night, I lit a candle on the beach near my loft, something quiet and symbolic. I didn't need a celebration. I didn't need revenge. I needed closure. And I finally had it. Sophia and Jonah had faded into the rear view. I didn't forgive them, not really. But I let them go. I stopped giving them power. That was enough. I had a new life now. And more importantly, I had me. Whole. Grounded. Wiser. Sometimes, the worst betrayal doesn't break you. It carves out space inside you. Room for something new. Something real. A week later, I met someone. Her name was Elise. We talked about books for 2 hours before I realized I hadn't once mentioned my past. Not because I was hiding it, but because, finally, it wasn't the main thing about me anymore. It was just a chapter. A painful one, yes. But a chapter one survived. And closed. The story of Noah didn't end with betrayal. It started with rebirth. And this time, I'm writing every page myself. If this story hit you hard, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more real and emotional stories every week.